Reed jumping up, and it is Kennedy Chandler now handing it off to Santiago Vescovi.
It's already a win just knowing that you're listening to me tonight.
Yeah, I'm invested. LSU will switch everything on defense, and Reed forces the pass out to Chandler, and they'll set it up with 10 on the shot clock. Vescovi, ball fake, good one. Knocks down a three.
You cannot go for a ball fake, shot fake by Vescovi. You can, but you're going to give up a three if you do.
Starting lineups are brought to you by Prudential. Eric Gaines playing for Xavier Pinson. Again, he's getting a lot of minutes, and he's had a problem with turnovers. Murray's a phenomenal athlete. Darius Days twisted his ankle. There was a chance he wasn't going to be available today, but he was there through the shoot-around and looks good. This is Brandon Murray. He did one of those step back, and Doug Showers was right there to call that a walk.
Yeah, it was a 1-2-3 instead of a 1-2, and Showers right on top of it. Both these teams are electric in their man-to-man defense. Tennessee doesn't switch nearly as much, a little more traditional, set the gaps, guard the ball, hard hedge. And they are both really good at what they do.
Chandler bounces it. Vescovi thought about another one. It's amazing the impact that Chandler, when he plays, has on Vescovi. And we saw it on that first play. He gets him the ball. And he is assisted on 40% of Vescovi's points. That's Uroš Plavšić inside.
Randy, if you're a post guy and the opposing team switches their point guard on you, you have to take it personal and go right to the rack. Well done by Plavšić.
So again, the point guard, Xavier Pinson, not available for the team in purple, LSU. Gaines had a terrific finish against Alabama, and here he is trying to penetrate. They have 6 on the shot clock. Day straight away, 3, too strong, but it's the guard Gaines with the rebound. He'll float one up off the iron. And a rebound by Plavšić, and Reed nearly ripped it away.
So far, Tennessee has not been put in a defensive rotation because they've guarded the dadgum ball really well.
Chandler, what a start for Tennessee. They're up 8-0, 2 threes and a 2. And LSU says we gotta slow this train down. So a really good start for Tennessee. Both of these teams, to Jimmy's points, offensively challenged. They're not good from the field. They're not good from three. They're not really good free throw shooters either. They like to get the ball inside. That's good hands by Plavšić to deflect it away, but it'll stay LSU basketball. There's Rick Barnes on the sideline. I think he likes his team, doesn't he?
I think he loves his team. He loves to fight and that Tennessee integrity and character that Schofield and Grant started a few years ago. That part is intact with the Vols this year.
So again, Murray, good pressure defense. Get a hard there working just to get a shot off. And they're now 0 for 3 as Days missed his second 3. Plavšić deflected, and here comes LSU with a chance in numbers. Days, there's a charge. Yes, Doug Showers gives the head signal to his partner Owen Short. Says that was a charge.
Speaks to the toughness of Vescovi, because he makes a poor decision on the pass, but then he doesn't drop his dauber. What he does, he sprints back, get his feet set, takes a charge. Tough guys don't let one mistake become 2, and Vescovi is a tough guy.
Mamani Wilkinson and Gaines go to the bench, and just like that, Alex Fudge is in for Will Wade. And also into the game is Justice Williams. Will Wade, last time we saw him, he was ranting and raging about the officiating at Alabama. We'll show you some of that. It was a fairly legendary rant.
It has kept you and I entertained with the past
for sure.
48 hours.
It's a good movie. You just kind of keep watching it once you start to see it again.
You've got to move LSU side to side. You cannot drive that first side of the floor.
Plavšić was open. That was a good look from Kumwa, and Uroš just wasn't ready for it. Looks like Rick Barnes didn't like the pass, but boy, he had him wide open for an easy layup, if not a dunk.
Rev, I've mentioned Tennessee has yet to be put in a defensive rotation because they're staying in front of the basketball, and that's number 1, number 2, and number 3 priority against LSU.
Brandon Murray pull up. That's another miss, and they are still over from the floor. Chandler in that first game did have those 6 turnovers. He and Fulkerson is not yet in the lineup. Dealt with COVID earlier. Vescovi nearly had it ripped away by Tari Eason. Bounce pass on the baseline and another kick out. That's ball movement to James. He knocks down a three. Boy, hot potato with a basketball. And now Plavsic and Alex Fudge go toe-to-toe. Off to an 11-0 start. Tennessee is 4 of 4 from the field. LSU is 0 of 4. And after the foul, it'll be an inbounds for LSU. Huntley Hatfield is into the game, number 2 for Tennessee. Plavsic gets a bit of a rest.
Eason for LSU has to be the offense. 13 in purple has to get a touch with his right hand going downhill.
He has it now, and Josiah Jordan-James is on him, try to get in front of him, and a quick call, and Rick Barnes is right there with Doug Schaus.
You have to sit hard on the right hand of Tari Eason. And he can cross you up a little bit, but he is absolutely lethal between the pipes. That strong right hand move.
24 and 12 off the bench in the first meeting. Now he penetrates, throws it up on the left. They're 0 for 5.
He's just not quite as good a finisher going with that left ball.
Chandler. Ball movement's been terrific so far tonight for Tennessee, and Vescovy will launch a three off the iron. Days will come down with it at the 15.5-minute mark. He's in, and that's going to be on LSU.
Boy, Tennessee doing a fabulous job early, Ravi. Sprinting to the orange part of the floor, building a wall, stopping the ball. LSU better adjust.
Not going the way that LSU wants it to. Because of the 0 for 5 start, Tennessee's defense deserves a lot of credit. That foul was on Eason.
The uniqueness of LSU's defense, it's right there with really Syracuse's 2-3 zone in terms of how they switch everything.
Fulkerson, he got that, and they're going to get a foul on Williams, I believe, underneath. Shot won't count. That ball somehow ended up in the hands of Fulkerson. It went right through, went off.
One of the great teases of all time at TV right there.
What did he say? Well,
yeah, we're
I can't wait to hear that.
Yes.
Unintended.
That shot fake again by Vescovy.
James will launch another three. That's in and out. Look at Easton go up in traffic. The Cincinnati transfer to pull it down. LSU, what, are you going to get in the paint here? Try to get a foul, free throws, or an easy basket?
Well, they go to a double drag in transition and dive Easton out of it. But there's a lot of one-on-one stuff for LSU's offense. If you stay in front of the ball, you're in good shape. So far, Tennessee has.
Fudge takes it to the hole. That's another miss. Yeah. Good contest by Fulkerson there. And now Zakai Ziegler into the game. Vescovy left wide open. That's off. This is part of the issue for Tennessee. A little inconsistency. They started out on a house of fire and now have missed the last several threes. Fudge, high arcer, air ball.
That was just a bad shot. I mean, that's basically the ball's on the first side of the floor. LSU guarding themselves right now with their shot selection.
LSU is 0 of 7 from the floor. Vescovy again left open. That looked better, and that's the bottom.
If it's not Chandler to Vescovy, it's Ziegler to Vescovy. It all starts with Tennessee's ability to get to the paint. And then the kick out and LSU's in rotation.
14-0 LSU, and that's good defense that time, and we'll have a jump ball. Possession arrow will stick with LSU. How about the hands of the Volunteers tonight? The three starters are now back into the game. Wilkinson, Gaines, and Reed.
Ravi, that paint touch, and Ziegler really, he was just a threat to get to the paint is all it was that time. And Vescovy is so good in that wide slot 3 area. He is, that's the money ball.
A one-on-one from LSU. Days got fouled, and he finally gets it to fall. And we'll see if that helps turn the LSU offense around. Darius Days Chance for a three-point play. ACC Big 12 Big Monday doubleheader. Noah Locke, remember him from the Florida days. He's on Louisville now. He'll take on Jaden Gardner in Virginia, 7 Eastern time. And then the top teams in the conference, Kansas, a huge comeback today against Kansas State. Baji was enormous down the stretch. They take on Texas Tech at Allen Fieldhouse. Tech beat West Virginia today, 78-65, both games on ESPN and the ESPN app. It looked like Kansas was dead in the water in that game.
Yeah, Baji, though, he's an All-American in that running for the National Player of the Year.
Absolutely.
Right, you look at those top adjusted defensive teams in the country right now, and Texas Tech right there with them. They switch when they have to, different than LSU, who switches every action.
Yeah.
Every action on every possession.
James picks up his second. Justin Powell, 24 into the game. Ziegler on 3. That's no good. How about him go and get it? That's just winning the 50-50 ball. Ziegler out-hustles everyone. Powell, he misses his first 3. Great hustle by Zakai Ziegler. Whoa, look out, collision down low, and on the ground is Fulkerson.
Well, LSU's going to have to put rim pressure on Tennessee in their conversion offense because the Tennessee half-court defense is too solid. And look at these defensive numbers. LSU comes in the best in the country in terms of points given up per 100 possessions. And Tennessee's right there with them at 6th in the country. Those 6 teams right there are just a pain in the backside to play against. We saw VCU in the Bahamas. Oh. They just beat you up. Arizona, terrific position defensive ball club.
Arizona's good all over.
Oh, man. They are Final Four, if not a Monday night good. They really are.
Day spin move, high arcer, no good. And that's knocked in by Reed. What a play. He went right over Plavchic's back.
He has a tremendous future, does Efton Reed. A kid that comes from a really difficult background, was homeless for a 7-month stretch when he was a little boy.
Right.
He wears number 15 because he lost his brother at the age of 3 to a tragic incident. And we fell in love with Efton Reed today during our conversation.
Sure did. Powell left open. Vescovy set that up, and it was started by Chandler. 3-point shooting for Tennessee has been very good. They are 5 of 10 from outside the arc.
Tennessee taking 26 threes per game in SEC play. The number's down a little bit from non-conference, but Rick Barnes has loosened up his offense this year with those 3 balls.
This is awfully impressive start. 17-4. Eason forces the issue. And Gaines, who's not a good 3-point shooter, gives it up. Eason will launch. That's good. That's a 3 right in the face of Uroš Plavčić.
It's a little bit of a late closeout by Plavčić. Eason at 36%. Not going to beat you from out there because he doesn't take enough of them.
Powell is a terrific catch-and-shoot guy. Instead, halfway down for Chandler. And here comes Gaines. Chance to pull back. Within 10. Gaines had it knocked away, and now he'll reset.
Tennessee had 3 white jerseys out in front of the ball, and Gaines still put rim pressure on. Will Wade turning up that conversion offense, knowing that he's not getting enough out of his half court.
Big to catch and shoot. Darius Days knocks down a 3, and just like that, a 17-4 game has gone 17-10.
He is such a hard guard, Darius Days, because he's 6'7", 240, basically plays like a 2-guard.
So right now it's the Volunteers who are being afflicted by the lousy shooting. They started 4-4. There's an offensive foul on Kumwa, and they have gone 2 of 8 and turned the ball over again. It is 17-10 as we take a timeout with 11-12 to go in the first.
Up for you on Twitter, by the way.
That was Will Wade post-Alabama game, in which he did get a technical. It did seem to wake the team up. They did come back, and it was real close down the stretch, but the discrepancy in number of fouls just set him off. And then today he acknowledged that alleged goaltend, it was close.
It was close. It was close. Oh, that was beautiful, though.
It was good.
Will Wade has said, though, that the tougher the circumstances, the better we are. Well, it's tough circumstances right now with no Xavier Pinson. And Tennessee shooting the ball as well as they are. And all Tennessee's shooting is 3s right now.
That's exactly right. Their last 10 field goal attempts, Jimmy, have been 3-pointers. Last 10. They started out on fire, and since they have gone 2 of 8. 7 on the shot. That's a rip there by Gaines. He's running with Easton, who's a dunk waiting to happen. And he just threw up a ball that went off the backboard and missed everything.
I'm just very impressed with Tennessee's willingness and accountability to sprint the defense, even after a turnover, man. You turn the ball over the top part of the floor, that should be a 2 for LSU, but Tennessee with just as many white jerseys as purple around the rim.
4 turnovers now for LSU. Full court pressure here from Gaines on Ziegler. Ziegler's done a really good job. He comes into this program when he knows that Kennedy Chandler's one of the best, if not the best, freshman point guard in the country. And he's made an impression. Here he launches, and he missed that 3.
Well, he's a fighter at his core, is what Ziegler is. And his love for that part of the game is probably as good as anyone in this entire league, not just in the freshman class.
5th turnover. They call Eason for a travel, and you can just see there's a heightened level of frustration right now from LSU. LSU, their last game, they were attempting to fly home, and the plane wouldn't get off the ground, so they ended up just busing here.
Well, there's Pinson, who in the first matchup, Tennessee couldn't stay in front of him. And he put Tennessee in a lot of defensive rotations, and that's a big loss right now. Where LSU is struggling, Tennessee is really, Ravi, they're really gap heavy with their defense, taking away those drives by LSU's offense.
Yeah, look at Murray, man. He is tenacious on defense. Chandler did a great job just to get it across half court and not turn it over.
It's that small lineup that's hard to handle for Tennessee. Basically three point guards on the floor with 2 bigs. You start chasing this lineup more than defending them if you're LSU, if you're not careful.
Wilkinson picks up his first on the reach. There was no basket.
LSU gets set. Any out of bounds under, the defense has to be the first team set. If you are, you probably defend it. If you're not, you probably give one up.
Another 3. One thing that's going on here is Placic had it and got knocked out of the way by Days. Their poor shooting is allowing LSU to stay in this game.
Yeah, it is.
They're doing them a favor right now. Murray, pretty move there as he finger rolls it in.
Gosh, is he good? Isn't he, Brandon Murray? I mean, he leads the team in minutes played. We talked about the other night. That's the one stat that the coach controls. Will Wade knows that's my guy on both ends of the floor. He is the vocal voice for LSU's defense.
Yeah, 17-4, now 17-12, an 8-0 run. Vescovy, they left him open. Yeah. He knocks it down. He's been red hot. The only guy that's been consistent from the outside. His 3rd 3 of the game.
Tennessee has been able to put LSU, Ravi, in a lot of long closeouts, open up that 3 ball.
Reed, 1-on-1, 7 feet against 7 feet. Placic did a heck of a job, straight up. And Vescovy will pull it back out. His body has changed over the last couple of years, hasn't it?
Yeah, he fought it to get in the best condition of his life. And boy, good shooters have to be in great shape, and he is.
Chandler, instead of the 3, takes it hard to an at-the-rim 2.
And it is not easy to get an at-the-rim 2 against LSU. But to Chandler's credit, he's making about 60% of his rim shots as a true freshman. Really well done.
Days will high archer over Chandler that rattled around just like that. Now it's Tennessee that's back to being warm, and LSU has gone cold. The game of streaks.
Anytime Tennessee's gotten the ball to the 3rd side of the floor, more good things have happened. It's on the 2nd side right now.
And that's going to be a backcourt.
That's not good.
Urosh had it down low on the baseline. Barnes wondering about that pass, and Ziegler was.
It's the difference between a guarded and an unguarded 3 is what it is.
They have 6 assists on their 8 field goals. 6 of those field goals have been from three-point land, and Vescovi's got half of those. Eason, that's an impossible shot.
It is.
With that left hand, he got stuck up in the air. They're going to keep it with LSU.
We want to give a shout out to our guy, Stats by Will, who tracked that for us the last 4 ball games against Tennessee, just to kind of emphasize what you're looking for between clean 3s and guarded 3s. There's a major difference in your make percentage.
Barnes taps the bench again. He's got Fulkerson in. Huntley Hatfield back into the game is Maurice. Knocks down a 3. The 3s are, well, they're keeping both teams in this thing, and certainly LSU has benefited by a couple here. They're still hanging around down by 7.
Yeah, Murray making a guarded 3 against Fulkerson, who did a good job of flying out.
Jamal Meshack in the game, 15 as well for Tennessee. Barnes played 10 different guys. Chandler backs his way in, and Meshack penetrates the floater. No good. LSU with the board. It's Eason. Powell fell down. Eason went to the hole. He picked up the foul. Powell just fell down. That opened up the door for Eason to take it to the rack. As he steps to the line, we remind everybody it's a Big Ten SEC Super Tuesday doubleheader. ESPN in the app. Michigan State, they beat Wisconsin last night. Pretty balanced scoring from Tom Izzo's team. They get Illinois at 7 Eastern time. And then number 12, Kentucky will host Mississippi State at Rupp Arena. We'll be there for that one. Should be a great night of hoops. Two of the top teams in each conference getting after it. Of course, Oscar Tshiebwe had a good game today with 16 and 14. Jabari Smith, his numbers, very representative of a guy that's that good. He also had a tremendous jumper late in the game. This Wendy's Wooden Watch looks at two of the guys that could easily win Player of the Year in the nation. I mean, he's separated, like he talked about, against two guys defending him and knocked down a jumper that not many in college are knocking down.
No, it speaks to the depth that Auburn has this year. When Jabari Smith, a big-time game like that, has 14 points, Bruce Pearl is not asking him to do too much. And Kentucky was up 9 when Ty Washington went out of the game. Both those teams healthy on a neutral floor. I think it's a 50-50 ball game.
Chandler, will they get a foul? Yes, they'll get a push. Twice he took it hard to the hole. A lot of times you go up against the trees at LSU and you're going to be in trouble. He kept challenging them, and that will send Darius Days to the bench with his second foul.
Rev, you mentioned Michigan State. We saw them in the Bahamas, and they're also right there, I think, come March. In that second weekend, maybe playing for a chance to get to the Final Four. They a bunch of grown men. Tyson Walker, the point guard's really coming on, and that was as good as Michigan State has played all year.
They did not have one guy. He had about 5 guys in double figures last night. That's going to be on the baseline. Tell you one thing about the Bahamas, we had a loaded field.
Oh my goodness.
You had Auburn, you had UConn, you had Michigan State, VCU was filthy. Baylor, Vescovy. They didn't close out again. He knocks down his 4th three. What a game he's having. And that leads to a turnover.
If you can't guard the ball, you can't guard the three. And LSU really suspect right now at guarding the ball, especially against Chandler and Ziegler.
Wide open three. Santiago Vescovy, 4 for 6. Came in shooting 37%. Oh, an offensive rebound too. LSU getting beaten up on their own boards. Good pass inside. Huntley Hatfield blocked by the rim. His second chance misses.
Ones you got to make, man. You're 6'10" and 3 feet from the rim. You got to make at least one out of two.
Murray air ball. Looks at his right hand. LSU looks a little tired, Jimmy.
They do, and their depth without Pinson, Days on the bench with foul trouble. They've been on the road since basically Tuesday of this week.
Look who's open again. Just missed a 3, Vescovy. They're doing a tremendous job of finding Vescovy when he's open.
Watch Vescovy's make off the paint touch of Chandler, and that's what it is. Again, just another long closeout. That's way too far. You have to respond and respect that drive ability of guys like Chandler and Ziegler. Man, it just force feeds the three-point shooting of Vescovy, who's seen a really good rim so far in this game.
Sure is. 12 points, Santiago.
I know it's Vescovy,
yeah,
but
we're just used to Vescovy.
Well, in the South, and it's Vescovy.
Okay.
Vescovy.
He does say when he goes and calls for a reservation at a restaurant, he just uses, I think, the name Sam. Just go with Sam. It gets a little confusing. Vescovy or Vescovy? It's been Vescovy for a few years. I wanted everybody to know the real way to pronounce it is Vescovy.
He is a tremendous mover without the ball. Never takes himself out of practice or any rep on game day. He's the real deal in all the intangibles you look for.
Days back in the game. He's going to play with 2. 4:40 in the game. Way outside. Did catch the rim. But LSU's offense, boy, again, they're in this funk.
Rough and stagnant are the 2 words that come to mind.
They're 6 of 21 from the floor. 28%. Step back, over Reed, tough shot. Days went up and grabbed it. The bodies are flying.
There's that 5-1 matchup though that LSU's not afraid to take on.
Murray hard to the hole. There was some contact and no foul. Brandon Murray elevates.
He is going to be special sooner than later. You're talking about a true freshman winning a collision at the rim. That was it.
Reminds me a little bit of Donovan Mitchell.
Oh, good call, yeah.
That's a bad pass and a turnover. Murray's been dealing with some hamstring issues, and right now, as he's heading to the bench, he's limping a little bit. Yeah. We'll keep an eye on number 0.
And by the way, I would probably not help him off of Vescovi, because you know what? If you help off of him, they're going to kick it to him. There's a good chance he's going to make a shot. Hey, Jimmy Dykes, I want to see you with a picture of the real Smokey, not that imposter.
Hey, halftime, coach, we'll get on that for you.
Good hands there. As we look forward to the Chief halftime report. That's another shot that's way off. And boy, LSU has been brutal from the field today. 7 of 23.
Ravi,
and it's really the quality of misses, because they're high quality misses. Like, they're missing by a lot.
They are. to Seth's point about Vescovi, he's about 4 out of 7 now from the 3-point line. So you're at the point of the game where you face guard him, you don't come off of him no matter what. Now, so what does that do? It opens up drive lanes for Chandler if you get him on the same side of the floor. But you can't let Vescovi keep killing you with threes.
Boy, Gaines got lucky there. He spun himself into a rinse cycle, but was able to get a foul, so he'll go to the free throw line. You know, you watch Auburn today, and you realize that they have Jasper back there, and they got K.D. Johnson, who's phenomenal. And this Tennessee team, Chandler's arguably the #1 prospect coming into college, but you bring Ziegler in off the bench, and like those Auburn guards, he is right in your face. A hard-nosed, tough kid.
Ziegler changes the game when he comes in. And like Wendell Green at Auburn does the same thing, more on the offensive end. And I was just, again, so impressed with Auburn today, Ravi. I believe still right now they're the only team in the top 10 in both offensive and defensive efficiencies numbers. They scored 51 against Kentucky in the second half.
That's amazing.
Now, you lose Ty Washington, you lose your offense, I get that.
Yeah.
But the defensive breakdowns were still there by Kentucky, no matter who Cal put on the floor.
17 fouls, so we're in the bonus already for LSU when they get fouled. And here's a run out. And Murray from behind knocked it away. And Rick Barnes, who's coached everywhere and for so long, said he'd never seen anything like that Kentucky offensive output. They scored 107 in that game against him.
Yeah, he saw it up close.
Yeah.
And then so think about it. What Kentucky did to the #6 defensive team in the country that day.
Tennessee has gone scoreless for the last 3 minutes. That lead out there. 7-footer on Vescovi. See you later. Great move by Ziegler. Offensive foul. Kumwa. Good job by Gaines to stand his ground and then end up on the ground. And Kumwa picks up foul number 2.
That's 2 charges on Kumwa in this game. I mean, you have to know LSU, whether that's a 50-50 call or not, LSU is going to attack you and you attack them. And that is not Kumwa's strength right now, trying to make plays off the bounce.
And then Huntley Hatfield back into the game. Kumwa goes to the bench.
Good job by Klopsic to talk Ziegler through that high flat ball screen that has rocked Sylvia Wheeler a couple of times for Kentucky recently.
Got a foul on LSU. Charge. Tomorrow, the 11th annual We Back Pat Week continues. An afternoon of women's hoop. It starts with these two on the SEC Network and the app. Kentucky, Ole Miss, noon Eastern time. Then the 5th-ranked Lady Vols in Athens. They'll take on Georgia, ranked 13th. Tennessee atop the conference standings. They are 6-0. And the statue outside reminded 8 national championships for Pat Summitt, who's here at Tennessee.
Tennessee's back rolling in that women's game right now. I don't know if they can win the national title, but they can certainly get to that Final Four.
Klopsic, that's a foul on Reed. Mismatch on all that switching. Sometimes it does lead to a 7-footer being guarded by a 6'4" guy.
And you have to take it personal if you're the 7-footer. I mean, if they say, you know what, we're not afraid to switch on you, then you have to make them pay. And Klopsic is Again, he's all up 7'1" and probably 250. He plays long and he plays wide, becoming a real factor for Rick Barnes the next couple of months in SEC play.
Again, LSU shorthanded. There's no Xavier Pinson again. He's dealing with and it was against Tennessee, Jimmy, a non-contact injury when he went down with an injury to that right knee, and a lot of people feared the worst. Instead, it was a sprain, and he's still struggling. We watched him try to loosen it up and go through some personal drills today. He's got a big brace on. Still, he was still, nagged by it.
Yeah, but he is the quarterback, the voice, with a dynamic, risky game that LSU kind of needs.
He's right by Vescovi, who tried to draw the charge, and he didn't. How about it? LSU, for what we've seen in the first half, they're down just 3.
I think Seth said it for the ball game. The first team to 58 is probably going to win, and that's the number we're tracking right now. You got to move it. The ball has to move, and the players have to move for Tennessee. You're going to be put in some long defensive possessions by LSU, and Tennessee has to score late in clock against LSU's defense in this game. They're going to have to do it.
So now they go with Ziegler and Kennedy Chandler, who's into the game, and Vescovi. So a 3-guard offense, if you will, for Tennessee.
And can you keep LSU off the offensive glass? The one way to do it is gain rebound. All 5 guys have to fight with all they've got if LSU gets that ball up.
Easton quiet so far tonight against Plavsic, and that's good defense, so we'll start it again.
They're just playing LSU a space and drive game is all it is. A little bit of a smoke screen by Days.
Long, high arcing 3, and just the backboard for Darius Days.
Another, what'd you say, high quality miss by LSU?
Yeah, they're impressive. Lost in the paint. Eason, he's going to run out, and he's got Murray ahead of the field for the flush.
Good job.
It's a 1-point game, and Rick Barnes has LSU run the last 3 minutes. Jimmy, it was 17-4. I mean, it felt like Tennessee was shooting LSU right out of the building. And here we are with $1:11 to go in a 1-point ball game.
We've been with Will Wade the last 3 games in a row, and he keeps telling us our defense is sustainable. It's sustainable game to game and within the game. You're Tennessee, you cannot keep turning that thing over. Now, what do you say, 9 turnovers by the Vols? No, that's a recipe to get yourself beat on your home floor.
After the Kentucky loss, they went and beat Vanderbilt. Pretty close game, but they won that game, and there was a lot more Tennessee fans there than there were Vanderbilt fans. Chandler in traffic. Plavsic, nice dump off that time by Kennedy Chandler. Ends over what was a 5-minute scoring drought.
A good drop off by Chandler, understanding I'm not going to have a clean alley to drop it off with a waist pass, so he bounces it to get it to Plavsic's waist.
Plavsic to stand way off of Reed. We've seen Nas Reed. Remember Nas Reed? He would take the 3-pointer out there. Efton is not doing that. Tari Eason just dribbled the ball out of bounds.
Watch Chandler right here, because you want to get the ball waist level or higher. He can't do it with the initial wraparound air pass, so he has to go to the floor and bounces it right at the numbers. Beautifully done by Chandler.
10 seconds to go. Chandler.
He's going to try to trap it and keep that ball from getting through the gaps.
Kennedy tripped up, no foul. And a loose ball. It's going to be Tennessee's, and they'll have a chance. 2 seconds to go. There was absolutely contact.
And right, it's a good example for LSU as the out-of-bounds under defensive team. You've got to get yourself set first. You can't be the second team to get set. And normally, he's going to trip over his own feet. But if you're LSU right now, you get contact body into body and don't let Tennessee get one on you to close out the half. Plavsic is a lob threat right now for sure.
He's there. He has it. Throws it up. Can't get it to go. Tipped in. That will be good. Huntley Hatfield before the buzzer went off.
Starts with Will. Every championship team has at least one dude on the team that's about half crazy. Right, and in the right way. And I think it's Klopchitz tonight. I know he's borderline been a little reckless, but he's got an edge and a toughness in Tennessee that they have lacked a little bit at times.
Easton struggles there, leaving it short, and an open jumper. Tennessee was leading this game 17-4. Their largest lead is 14. In and out for Cumwa, and nobody there to pick up an offensive rebound.
Tennessee shot 41% from 3 in the first half. No team all year long has gone over 33% against LSU.
Contested shot on the baseline from Gaines as he gets that to drop. Gaines, that's his second and third points, first field goal of the night. So Darius Day struggled from the three-point line. He was 1 of 6 in the first half.
2 or 3 times a game, Will Wade will run empty corner for Gaines just to bring in an attack. That was one of them.
They got 10 now on the shot clock. Chandler. The Days on him. There's your kick. James. Right on. And a good pass from Cumwa on the corner to the open man.
This is very uncommon. They shoot over 42% against LSU. Can it continue for Tennessee? I don't know, but I'll say it again. No team has shot over 33% all year long against LSU's lengthened athletes.
They're shooting 44% from three-point land. Reed will throw one up, and that's too strong. Loose ball. Days had it. That's going to be a foul and some contact to Klopchitz as he goes down. Got ran into by Darius Days. That's a 6'7", 245-pound contact.
Another long, late closeout that LSU was put in because they couldn't stay in front of the ball to start with.
Second foul on 33 in white. Bad pass. Easton able to control it. Tari Easton took over the game for LSU against Alabama in the second half. That ball was deflected out of bounds by Vescovi.
Ravi, in a game like this, you can do nothing casual if you're on the floor.
Does the game favor either team? I know the coaches are that way. Does it favor either team the way it's being played?
I just think both teams are so good defensively and so rugged. And they're comfortable with contact ball games, and that's exactly what we have.
Days misses another. He's 1 of 7 from deep. Tennessee, if you're joining us, did a great job getting Santiago Vescovi 25 open in the first half for threes. They try again there, but Gaines closed out, so James will throw up another one and miss it. LSU without its point guard, Xavier Pinson. They had hoped to have him back. Good hands, and it's deflected out of bounds, but his right knee would not allow it. LSU's schedule gets a little more.
4 individual guys that can beat you by themselves on any night. Yeah. I think that's the separator they have with anyone else in the league right now. I don't think Auburn will lose more than 3 games, and it's a foot race right now to try to catch it.
They took 4 seconds off the clock. Just underway second half. Both teams 3-3 in conference, showed you those standings. So it's another big game for each, I should say. And Easton, boy, his foot was moving all over the place. Then there was a foul called.
I like what Will Wade did with Easton, though. He posted him up right on top of the nail. Kind of that extended elbow area. And now the floor is really, it's his. And he's so good, again, in the power part of the floor with his right hand. You better eat it up with some gap help.
Kennedy Chandler picks up his first. Hand off to Gaines. That's too strong. Boy, Easton, yep, he pushed him. Good call. Tari Easton pushed Cumwa out of the way, and for Tari Easton, that'll be foul number 2.
I anticipate it being a very tight whistle, especially the first 4 minutes of the second half. As well it should be.
Pressure on Chandler, who did not have a turnover in the first half.
They got to go.
They got to go, is right. Cumwa throws it wildly, and Klopchitz was the release valve.
That looks like a pass from a guy in gym class in high school that the last guy picked.
Just throw?
No, just throw it. High school Harry. Okay, I'll take you. And he got it out of there.
Vescovi, the behind a Cumwa screen. No good. Reed and Klopchitz were battling there for the rebound. Gaines.
Can Days get involved as a scorer for LSU from the 2-point part of the floor? He fell in love with the 3 in the first half.
Get to LSU, there's not a lot of movement from the players. One-on-one as Eason backs in. The fade away. No good. Reed had it and lost. Not a lot of movement from LSU on the offensive end.
Well, this end, Tennessee has been so good at moving all 5 guys.
Various days. Pressures Cumlaw. Days has 2 fouls for LSU. There's 7 on the shot clock. Vescovy. Easton ties him up. Out of bounds, and it'll be LSU basketball. Good defense that time by the purple and gold. First meeting 79-67. LSU had 38 points in the paint and 23 points off turnovers. Points in the paint tonight, LSU a dozen. 38 in the first game. We also had Xavier Pinson creating a lot of those. Days immediately dribbled into a turnover. Plenty of time on the shot clock. Murray. No good. Plavsic never jumped for it. Still had it. Now loose ball ripped away. Darius Days seems to be in some pain again. He's grabbing at that ankle again. Screaming and writhing in pain. That's a 250-plus pound man landing on an ankle that's compromised already. And now, again, like the Alabama game, we'll have to see where LSU is going to get their points from. Chandler tried to dribble through all of them and nearly lost it. They'll retain it with Vescovy.
He's going to have to come off of LSU's defense. Eason, Murray, and Gaines. That could be your 3 big scores now going forward.
James just threw that to nobody. Had that not been deflected out of bounds, it was going to be a turnover. Fulkerson into the game for Tennessee as they dry the floor here. Fulkerson's been an interesting story this year. Came back and had a huge game against Arizona, but his playing time has gone down. Rick Barnes has implored so many of his players to be tougher, and Fulkerson was one of them.
Well, this is a high-contact game, and I don't think Fulke is great when it's body blow type action. He's good in space. He can be quick and get you spinning and kind of straight line drive you or straight line cut you, but this is not that type of game.
The 3 on the shot clock. It ends up in Fulkerson's hand, though, and he lays it in off the window. Good break for Tennessee.
Yeah, LSU continues, though, to switch everything. I believe teams that switch everything, right, they have a mentality, a bad matchup is better than no matchup.
Yeah.
So they don't get hurt on ball screen coverage very much because they always have that ball covered.
Right after Reed, he was isolating on Fulkerson. There was nobody there to think about an offensive rebound. And Reed's jump hook missed.
Feels like a dangerous 3 or 4 minutes while LSU tries to recapture their mojo, knowing that Days is gone.
Yep. That shot fake certainly worked there. Then a ball fake, and then they block with a foul at the rim.
He is crafty with a capital K, is he not? Fulke just, again, he's at his best when it's just some broken plays, quickness plays, and just trusting his instincts. That shot fake by Vescovy it's predictable, but then it's not at the same time because he keeps you off balance when he uses it and when he does not.
Tari Eason, Jimmy picks up foul number 3. Vescovy will shoot the free throw. The first one rattles out. Well, Vescovy's a 73.8% free throw shooter.
It will be nearly impossible if Eason picks up foul number 4 here in the next couple of minutes.
For LSU to win.
Yes.
Yeah.
Your offense has already taken a big hit. It wasn't great coming in. As poor as Tennessee's offense has been all year, they're 50 slots better than LSU in the efficiency rankings. Danger time, right?
And the crowd senses it too. You can hear them recognizing now may be the time to put them away. Again, Darius Days out, ankle injury for the 2nd consecutive game. Brandon Murray knifed his way to the rim and came up short with it. Chandler penetrates, lays it up and in. A blow by Kennedy Chandler, and Will Wade says we got to talk it over because he's sensing the same thing we may be. Gnawing on the arm of an of a Tennessee fan there.
You always sit by a guy that brings an elf into the building. Always, because you know it's going to be a party.
starts to both the first and second half have been huge for Tennessee. They outscored them 22-2. Easton needed that one, and maybe that gets Tari Easton going. Happened against Alabama.
26-10 that night. Easton's so good at the middle floor. And so good with that foot fake, man, just to get a little bit of separation.
37-28. Noah Xavier Benson, the starting guard. Point guard for LSU. Darius Day's out again. He re-injured that right ankle. Now, what followed that fast start for Tennessee in the first half was a slump. Foul there, Milwani Wilkinson. Watch Milwani Wilkinson's interesting. I mean, he plays a lot of minutes. He gets about 23, 24 minutes a game. Only once this year he's been scoring in double figures. His average is 3.5 a game, and he gets 24 minutes a game. Obviously, he does a lot of other things, but you're not getting any point really production from him.
No, you're not. You're on the floor for his defense. And that time he helps off of Vescovi on the same side. And a defensive mistake cannot come off of Vescovi, especially on the same side as the ball.
He's killed them tonight. And by the way, Vescovi, his 54th attempt from 3 is a career high for a season. And he is 5 of 9 tonight. It's the only shot he's taken. He's at 3. Layup missed. Well, that looked like it went off Milwani Wilkinson's hand.
Watch come off right here and watch what happens. You come off and help, bam. That's coming off on the same side of the ball. Now you got another long closeout. And what is Tennessee doing against long closeouts tonight? They're knocking the bottom out of it.
You notice about Vescovi with his feet. So many times you get the ball in that corner as Easton goes hard, that's going to be a block. He doesn't move his feet very much, so if he's set up inbounds, he's never going to step out of bounds.
No, he's got, I don't know if you call it foot discipline or whatever. I'm not trying to make up something to sound smart, but his feet are always have a great understanding of where he is on the floor.
Big time soccer player growing up.
So he should have good feet, but all good shooters, the shot is built from the ground up, and then Vescovi built his shot from the ground up.
Easton getting bodied. As he gets it to Fudge, he goes to the rack. Good defense that time by Fulkerson. He played tough, straight up.
There have been a handful of collisions at the rim tonight. And Tennessee, it seems like they've won more than they've lost.
Wide open, James, too strong. Look at the clear out. There's 3 purple jerseys, and they're going to get Easton. And if they do, that's a big one. No, I think it's on 2. I think he called it on 2 and white. Boy, there were 3 purple jerseys boxing out, and the players on the floor are confused.
Maybe they got Brandon Huntley Hatfield for a little bit of a grab and a hold.
I think so, but I'm telling you, the players didn't know who that call originally was on, and Easton looked like, is that on me? Instead on Huntley Hatfield. That's his first.
Can you get Gaines in a drive situation? Can you get Easton in the middle of the floor?
There's the drive. That Wilkinson. Nope, he doesn't make that shot. Good battle. Easton wins that one. Now Gaines open 3. That's off. 4 shooting tonight for LSU. They are 11 of 40.
Rebounds are even. It's not easy to stay even on the boards with LSU. Tennessee has done it.
Chandler. Strain on, but too strong. Rebound here, and we're going to get a foul on the floor. They're going to call it on Gaines as he got locked up with Josiah Jordan-James.
One during the timeout, the officials went and looked at it. That is not a normal basketball box-off. When you go low like that, but everybody is in a physical, one-on-one, man-to-man, chin-to-chin war in this game when the ball is shot. But that's an easy one to escalate to an F1. Tennessee gets 2 and the ball.
And James misses both free throws. Tennessee will inbounds. And LSU without Days. Hinson, who hasn't played all night, is desperate for some offense. Their shooting has been off. They have 6 assists on their 11 field goals. On the other side, Tennessee's moved it really well. 12 assists on the 15 field goals. And a quick grab there on Milwani Wilkinson, and that'll bring Efton Reed off the bench.
Good play, just an upscreen by Vescovi, then he loops off of it. That out of bounds under defense. I talked about it in the first half, right? You got to be set right now before the ball's ever handed to the official. Are you set? Are you down? Do you see both? Do you have body contact? If not, you're likely to be scored on.
Chandler's going to get it in, and he does to Vescovi. Vescovi was left open. That ball fake has got LSU defenders up in the air. Chandler, wow. What a play! Tremendous body control. Kennedy Chandler got banged, reset, laid it in.
Kid can do some special stuff, and he is outstanding at driving the switch or the mismatch, and that's just no contest. Efton Reed tries to rotate over, and Chandler down the right side of the pipe is so good, and he's just above 60% at the rim, which is a really high rate for an explosive freshman point guard.
7th foul against LSU, Tennessee 5, so already in the bonus here with 11:34 to go. Free throw missed from Chandler, but this now ties the largest lead for Tennessee, 14. Back in the game, Murray. Boy, he is strong. He just rolls like a train to the rim. He laid it in.
IMG Academy last year, but he was Mr. Basketball in the state of Maryland 2 years in a row.
Wide open, Fulkerson down low. He kicks. Vescovi was ready to shoot when he got it. Reed may have gotten away with a push-off, and here comes Murray. Decent baseline two-point jump shot. A rare mid-range two.
He's really good, Easton. He's started the week in the top 10 in the nation in individual player rankings on the KenPom because of what he does on both ends of the floor.
That's good look. Dump off Fulkerson. Really good look is right.
LSU cannot afford to give up plays like that when you're down double digits on the road. You've scored, you got to get your defense set. LSU doesn't do it. Tennessee runs it right at the rim.
He got burned in the press. Eason step back three ball. That's off. We're going to get a foul. A foul underneath the basket. Going to call that on Efton Reed. That's his second for LSU. And with the bonus, they'll be down shooting free throws for Tennessee.
There's so much violent contact with the ball shot on both ends. And that's Fulkerson just making a play, understanding, get yourself in front of the rim off the dribble penetration. But it is a grown man's game right now with that ball shot.
Tennessee's free throws have not been a positive tonight. They're 1 of 7 as Fulkerson steps to the line. He knocks it down. Fulkerson is a 72% free throw shooter.
Ravi, in today's culture, it's not easy to lead. It is absolutely not easy to lead. And Fulke and Josiah Jordan-James and Vescovi, they lead that culture that it's not about me, that Tennessee has built their program on. This guy has led that charge as much as anybody over the last 4 or 5 years, but it's not his points that Rick Barnes depends on. It's the size of that Valentine and keeping our culture in place. And Fulke does it well.
He does, but that is a milestone. He now has 1,000 points. Look who's back in the game. Darius Days looked like he had suffered a real bad ankle injury. He returns. After Uros Plavsic landed on him, he's back in the game. His gains slipping and sliding all over the place. And either his shoes are slippery or the floor is, but he's trouble keeping his feet. Darius Days earlier, you'll watch the middle part of your screen. He goes down, and then 250-pound Uros Plavsic lands on it. And given the fact that he just heard it last week against Alabama, he was as scared as he was much in pain, and they were able to get him back on the floor. And they need him. Down 14, matching the biggest lead that Tennessee's had all night.
Tennessee talked today in their walkthrough about squaring them up. We talked about it early this week, how you guard Alabama a lot. And Tennessee has done that. Now, they are not opening up their hips defensively, keeping LSU out of the paint.
Ziegler moves it to Powell, who's into the game. A good catch-and-shoot three-point shooter. Plavsic, double team, 7 on the shot clock. James will take it.
And it would really help Tennessee over the next 6 or 7 weeks if Josiah Jordan-James would make the open threes that he gets, because he gets a lot of good looks. moving screen.
Yeah, Reed and Vescovy goes right at him. Captain Reed's picked up some bad fouls here. Hey, our ACC Big 12 Monday doubleheader. Noah Locke, Louisville takes on Jaden Gardner, Virginia 7 Eastern time. Then get a chance to see Kansas rally today big time against Kansas State thanks to Abaji's 29. Texas Tech, they'll be at Allen Fieldhouse. Talk about a team that's connected. Seth Greenberg uses connected all the time. Texas Tech on defense, dynamic. They beat West Virginia today, 78-65. The games are on ESPN and the app.
Texas Tech gets you on the side, they keep you on the side. They probably switch 50-60% of their possessions, unlike LSU that switches every position, every possession. They do it differently, but they're outstanding at how they do it.
Think about that transfer portal, of course. Tari Eason's made the move from Cincinnati here. That's going to be a block, I think. And on Alex Fudge. Tari Eason makes the move, works out really well. You wonder what Powell's thinking is, having left Auburn and where they are right now, and kind of go back and think what role would he play on that team now had he stayed. Remember last year was the whole concussion thing, and he never really got on the floor.
Because he was the point guard before the concussion came in and Sharif Cooper got eligible. Now, he doesn't have the speed and quickness that those Auburn guards have right now. Those guys play exactly like Jared Harper and Brown did, and that's Bruce Pearl basketball. I love Tari Eason, just getting to know him a little bit over the last couple of weeks when he's been around LSU. He's a kid that in the honor roll, the fall semester there in Baton Rouge, you can sit down and talk politics or just what's going on in the world. I mean, he's a very well-rounded, well-grounded, a very mature kid in every area.
Double bonus, missed that free throw. And Days grabs the rebound. They are down 15, which is the biggest lead that Tennessee's enjoyed tonight. Days a three-point shooter and a really good one, but tonight he's been off. Another slip by an LSU offensive player. Look at Ziegler, what a pain he's been. Really good defense.
He just refuses to be screened.
Murray, baseline, thought about a reverse. Instead, he finds a little hole and lays it in.
And you have to work, don't you, to get a shot off against Tennessee's defense tonight? And there's nothing clean or easy going on. You don't own your spot. Tennessee's going to take it from you.
LSU, too, when they have had open threes, they've missed them. They're 3 of 17. Reverse. Muscovy's open, but Klavchich will throw up a hook. No good. Follows it up. And he was out of bounds, but a whistle. I think it's just going to be LSU basketball.
Yeah, Rick Barnes is so determined and so good at making sure that ball gets to the second or third side of the floor. I don't think he was really pleased with that possession.
LSU have a run on them like they did in their last game against Alabama to make it real close. Reed, free throw line extended, knocks it down. Now they're down 11.
Well, the LSU defense is certainly tough enough with under 8 to go. Can they get enough points? I don't know, but can they score off their defense is the key. Tennessee has to be strong with that basketball and not give any runouts at all right now to LSU.
Ziegler open. Too strong. Rebound, LSU. Muscovy's been their best guy shooting from threes, and the last couple of trips hasn't been him. Days lost it behind his back.
I don't know if he intended to go behind his back or not, but that's something you do not do against Tennessee. They put you in a crowd, and a behind-the-back move in a crowd is a turnover.
Wilkerson and Gaines, the point guard, getting set to come back in for Tennessee and LSU. Klavchich, pretty.
Really good slip by Tennessee, man. Against that switchy defense, you have to give them a steady dose of slips.
Eason, a lot of dribbling. With James staring him down right in the chest, trying to stay right in front of him, and does so, and that's going to be on Ziegler. Jimmy, there is nothing about offense that's coming easy for LSU, and a lot of that is because of Tennessee. 6 fouls they've committed. Darius Days back in the game. Evan Rojas back for Alabama. You saw the highlight. It's a huge deal for Nate Oates. Eason wide open. Look out.
Such a good play, man. You get the ball to Eason coming with his right hand, kind of fake the dribble handoff.
Well, she's made 5 of their last 6 field goals, Jimmy. They need a few stops.
LSU needs to stop fouling. They average 22 fouls per game right now in SEC play. That just is too high to win hard games.
Reed, Ziegler. Huge mismatch. Where do they go with it? Chandler, and James will kick it to Vescovy. That's a contested one. Days did close out on him.
Yeah, good job by Days to stay a little bit more attached to Vescovy than they were in the second half. And this feels like a bus trip, right, for LSU?
Yeah, and similarly, Tennessee to stop him. Otherwise, you'd start to feel a little momentum.
Yep. Got to play through Eason, you think.
There's a Ty Ziegler trying to do his best to stay in front of Gaines. And that's a foul, and that's number 7.
The out of bounds play. Watch Eason fake it right there, and Vescovy goes under. It just opens up his hips, and there's no help. That floor spread out and opened up. Really good side out of bounds play by Will Wade.
Gaines is 78% free throw shooter, one of the better ones on the team for a team that shoots just 66%. I think it was Wilkinson who may have moved. And that's going to be against LSU, so the ball will be Tennessee's.
Oh, man, he has added some sauce to this league, has he not?
Yes.
Man.
Trap Vescovy. Now they're getting close to the 10-second mark. Chandler, loose ball. Gaines got it.
Yeah, nothing passive about that press that time for LSU.
Gaines steps in, throws it up, count it. Gaines the basket.
After we talked about LSU, they're going to have to score off their defense, and even Will Wade sitting down understands that because he puts the press on hot. And Eric Gaines, that's the right call. He's going into his shot motion when Fulke comes with a hard foul. A very critical free throw make, I think, for LSU, because you know that press is going to come hot again if he makes it.
Rick Barnes wondered, was there a foul on the turnover that LSU caused, which led to the Gaines 2-point and now maybe 3-point play to pull him within 8. He missed another one.
Can't set the press. Well, that's a big miss.
Careful, Fulkerson's open underneath. Vescovy will slow it down.
Can LSU score a couple more times off their defense? If they do, they got a chance. If they don't, I don't think their half-court offense is going to get them there.
Chandler, he's got 4 assists. Oh, he had a reverse. He missed it, but Plavsic was there. Reed didn't get off his feet.
Good awareness by Plavsic to attack the drive with Chandler. He didn't stand and watch.
Gaines lays it up and in. Nice pass from Efton Reed.
Now the press is going to come hot again. He'll get it, right? He'll get it.
Offensive foul on James. He leveled Gaines. And LSU's pressure starting to have an impact. James picks up foul number 4.
LSU is an excellent pressing team. They can double you into a turnover, and they can move their feet well enough to force turnovers. You just kind of sense the building, 20,000 plus, and they're like, here we go.
Eason wide open again. He drives it, and he makes the basket. He'll shoot a free throw.
Pressure on these 2 first-year guys to handle this press and keep Tennessee aggressive on offense at the same time.
You get in the situation enough, Jimmy, and you start to see the same results over and over. You start to believe, like, yeah, we've done this before.
Absolutely, you do. There's no go away in LSU whatsoever.
15 points from Eason, free throw good. He's got 16 now. The team's leading scorer. Having another good game.
You have to change up your press breaker looks against LSU and try to keep them guessing just a little bit, but you're going to get a hard double here if you're not careful. There it is.
Chandler quick to the hole. Good pass. Fulkerson, body there. That may be a goaltend. Mistake by Fudge to go up and try to take that one away. They'll have a 3-point play opportunity now.
Revy Chandler is so good at making plays from behind the backboard. And he takes that ball one more bounce and finds Vescovy right there at the logo. And again, Vescovy and Plavsic both attacking the drive of their own guy. Really well done.
Hard to understand what Fudge was doing there. I mean, I assume you think you can block the shot, but that's a goaltend.
That's a goaltend
every minute of the day.
You can't block shots standing underneath the rim.
Fulkerson missed it. Good job, Vescovy, and he and Days went down. Jump ball, it'll be LSU's. Really good job by Santiago Vescovy to tie up there his Days.
Man, is this league and this SEC tournament in Tampa going to be an absolute battle. Just it's plays like that we see night in and night out in this league. The athletic plays are something special. This league just looks different to me than any other league this year in college ball. It really does.
I'm not sure if Vescovy gets involved with a play like that as a freshman or sophomore.
No, he does not. Easton, Gaines, Days, the three guys you got to tag if you're Tennessee right now.
8-point game. Easton to the hole. He got pushed. No foul called, and the block by two guys. Vescovy. Ziegler knocked down a huge shot. That's a three. And the whistle's blowing here as timeout is called after the shot went in.
Will Wade has an argument right there. That ball is above the cylinder, and that's what initially set him off. And then he tried to call a timeout, but the building was so loud it didn't get acknowledged. So LSU ball with a full shot clock to work with. They switch high and hot on Easton like you have to do.
He drives, charge, Tari Easton.
Making life difficult on Easton, even on the left side of the floor. He's going to go with his right paw. And Ziegler just, again, the toughest competitor in the building is Zakai Ziegler.
Easton's fouled out, which is a huge story for LSU. 4 minutes to go in the game, and he is done.
Ziegler is a dog tough kid, man. Just another fast, tough guard that has changed Tennessee's team this year.
Yeah, and changed perception. They didn't know what they were getting with Zakai Ziegler, and he has been so impressive. Look who's leading the point. Chandler's out there too, but Ziegler's playing in critical minutes in the conference game.
Well, he went with Ziegler, Rick did, against Vanderbilt to close out that game over Chandler. That's how much confidence he has in.
Chandler with 1 second fires it up. No good. Plavcic there. And he is tied up, and he kind of fell down. Milani Wilkinson went there to help him get back up. A little bit of an overreaction by Mobia. Maybe this is going to be his team, at least in that sense.
Yeah, I don't think Will Wade or Rick Barnes, either one, will put a soft guy on the floor. They just won't. You're just sitting right at the end of the bench if you have any type of softness in you at all. Man, that's been on display in this game as much as anything.
Plavcic knocks them both down and having a very good game. Now 10 points, 6 rebounds.
This is not non-contact pickleball, which you're an expert in right now.
Yeah.
This is high contact, get your nose broke stuff.
The contact pickleball wouldn't really work, but I hear what you're saying. Think about the big guys in the league, though, how good Walker Kessler has been and continues to get better. You've got to have a guy like that.
Yeah,
That's why Reed needs to go to the next level.
Yeah.
Sheebwaite's there. 2 seconds on the clock. Ziegler. And that's going to be a block on Reed. Tennessee's on a 7-0 run, the last 139, and the LSU charge has been nullified. And now their lead is growing to 14 again. 15's been the largest.
When you're small like Ziegler, you better be tough. You better be able to guard your spot, and you better be able to make a shot. And this kid can do all three at a pretty good rate.
You guys talked about 58. We're at 60 now in Tennessee.
Well, Tennessee's going to win the game.
Murray steps into a three that's way off. Another backboard breaker. I've had a handful of those tonight. Hard to judge LSU without Pinson and a compromised Darius Days. And by the way, we've seen them on the road in Alabama and now the road here in Tennessee. Their schedule does open up. Will Wade is insistent when we're full, we're the toughest out in the conference. It's his statement.
Rabbi, Tennessee is shooting 35% from the three-point line.
Yep. 43% for the game.
No team this year has shot over 33% from three against LSU. That's how good their three-point defense has been.
Vescovi just lost the ball. Santiago's got 16 points. He's been their best shooter, but Plavchic's been the guy tonight offensively and defensively. As Days misses, and that's another foul, and if it's on 15, Reed, that's going to be it for the night.
Very few second opportunities for LSU in this game. Not enough of them.
They call it on Days.
For Tennessee to play this many minutes with three small guards, but you watch when the shot goes, those three small guards, man, they're smacking down, they're rotating down and getting involved in the fight, just like you have to do.
So let's look at the center for LSU, Efton Reed, who we know you like as a person. There's a great story behind him of perseverance and resilience. How do they work on developing him offensively?
Well, it's going to be first of all, his body. He's got to get stronger because this is a high contact, lean on your league around that low post. I think it's his confidence. I think we'll getting him a couple of special scoring plays, whether it's a cross screen action or a size screen to get him involved. But he's learning on the fly. He's a 7-footer that is in a big boy league right now. But he's going to be special in a couple of years. He's not a one and done guy at all.
4 points tonight for Reed. He played on the same IMG team with Bediako from Alabama and Brandon Murray. All three of them were postgraduates there. Here's a turnover. And Jordan James will just slow it down. 2 minutes to go in the game. Tennessee going to go to 4-3 in the conference. LSU is going to drop to 3-4. An 11-0 run has put this thing away.
Rabbi, you got to remember Tennessee 3-3 in this league. They're the team that beat Arizona, and Arizona is Final Four good. But that's how good Tennessee is capable of being when they make shots, and that's what they've done tonight.
Plavcic leveled Murray, then he went in for a dunk. Sort of an exclamation point on the night for Uroš Plavcic.
It just seems like this is the first time Plavcic feels like I belong.
I agree.
You know what I'm saying?
100%.
He's played minutes before and really not sure of himself.
That happened a few games ago when Barnes put him into the starting lineup, took Fulkerson out.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure he's coming out of that starting lineup. You're going to need a 7-footer that can bang, and he's got the body to do it this year in the SEC. Chandler, tough shot. No good. Rebound, Vescovi.
It's been a very difficult opening stretch for LSU. You mentioned their schedule's going to open up. They can't afford to drop too many more, though, if they're going to be in that top 4 in the SEC tournament, which is a really big deal.
That's right. Vescovi lost control of the ball. And here comes Murray. And he lays it in. 28 seconds to go. Crowd starting to find the exits. Like you say, it's a grown man's game where both teams came out and they were physical. Will Wade and Rick Barnes at half court. A little meet and greet.
Just another all-out battle in the SEC. It's going to happen for the next 7 weeks.
They end the game on a 13-5 run. Lowest point total of the season for LSU.